guys. Hi, everybody. Hope you guys are having a good morning. I am here bright and early. I need to get these Louie Waist Bags sewn up, so we are going to do that this morning. I have half of one done already because I have to do two, so I was trying to get a refresher yesterday because it has been a hot second since I've made a Louie Waist Bag. And here's the thing. I know there are things that I changed on it. I am the worst at keeping notes of what I changed. So I don't know if I'm doing it the same way that I did before. We'll learn on this first one. I already know that I like to use a 1/4 inch seam allowance instead of a 3/8 around the zippers and stuff. And I had to trim down my gusset because of that. I know that much. I have a new little toy here. It's a notepad where I can write on the patterns, right? The PDF patterns. I can write all my notes on them and they save on my computer. I'm hoping with this new tool, when I forget what I changed with a pattern, I can go back to my patterns now and be like, oh, there's my notes. We'll see. Okay, so what kind did I get, Katie? I got the X pen, the XP pen. It was a little bit cheaper than the Kindle Scribe and way cheaper than the Remarkable. So we'll see. It was a great little deal off of Amazon and it looks like it's going to do really good. So I don't know. We'll see. I have a similar, yeah, you have a similar issue. Yeah. I'm like, I really need to do something about that because it really is impacting all of my stuff. So, okay. I'm going to tell you something. I did the embroidery video yesterday and the embroidery patterns that I purchased off of Etsy, the files, weren't the greatest stitch out. There was lots of little mistakes on it and it was driving me a little crazy and I couldn't do it. So I bought a new file with a new little Mickey and Minnie and these stitched out so much better. It's clean. It looks great. So these are my new little panels that I'm going to do. Again, these bags are for my daughter and her boyfriend. They're going to Disneyland together and I offered to make them matching little bags. And this is what they wanted. They just wanted a Mickey and Minnie one. They're all black. I know that's hard to see on camera. I'm sorry. That is what they chose. I kept trying to suggest different colors and adding different little pops of things, and it was a no. So these are completely black. The only color they have are these Mickey and Minnie's. It's fine. So that is what we're going to do today. I don't know if we'll finish both of them. I think maybe we will. But yeah, so I have half of one done already. I have the back panel to it. I'm like, where's my pieces that I did already? I have the back zipper panel done for this one. And then I have the top zipper or the back panel with the zipper pocket and then the top zipper gusset piece done. So I'm going to take it off from there. We're going to finish this first one and then we'll make the second one. We'll see how long it takes. And hopefully this is fun and you guys can keep me company. Okay. I need more caffeine this morning because I'm exhausted. Are you ready? I'm going to put the camera in and down so you guys can see more what I'm doing. And you guys, I fixed my floor. My chair rolls now. I put a plastic mat down and a cutting mat over my big hole in my floor. So, that's your shirt. Isn't that cute? I bought it in Montana, actually, at a little store on the main street in Bozeman. Okay, so I'm going to put the camera in and down, and we are going to dig into... Just a minute. I'm going to put it down more this way. How's that, everybody? We good with that angle? Yeah, that looks pretty good. All right, here we go. Watching while I groom my golden doodle. Aww, little baby. All right, so I'm gonna finish making my gusset here. Again, I apologize. All my pieces are black. That's just, you know, that's just all there is to it. It is what it is. Okay, here we go. Hi, Sue. I watched you embroider panels yesterday and I struggle with centering things on the hoop. I do some things you did. I guess it's okay. Yeah, somebody sent me... Oops, I better put my zipper pull on. I almost did this without putting my zipper pull on. Somebody sent me a email or a message saying it's totally worth it to get the hooping station by... Oh gosh. Who are my hoops by? I'm drawing a blank. The hooping station. I might do that. I just don't do it enough to justify it. I don't know. All right. So I think I'm just going to put... I usually do a double pull on this bag. I think I'm just putting a single pull on it. I don't think it absolutely needs a double pull. So we're just going to do a single pull today. And here we go. All right, so I'm just finishing this gusset. All right. And I don't remember in the original pattern if the gusset was tight, if it was loose. I want to say it was super tight. But again, I didn't write down any notes because I'm the worst. So I guess we'll find out on this first one. I'm not doing both the bags in an assembly line style because I want to see if I need to make any changes on the second one, right? Because it's been a while. I am using all Smoothie Smooth from Tulip Bee from Miss Annette. And I have to say the Smoothie Smooth embroidered so nicely. Like so nicely. I was super impressed with how the embroidery showed up on it. So you could totally embroider on this. Mighty Hoops. Thank you. Yes, Mighty Hoops, guys. That is it. I couldn't think of the name. The Mighty Hoops Hooping Station. Do you have any recommendations for a beginner embroidery machine? You said the gusset was super tight in the previous video. Okay, thank you. I thought so. I was like, do I need to change? Well, now it's too late. So I guess we'll see on this one. I think it has to do with the materials I use too for the gusset. So my very first machine was a little brother embroidery machine. I forget the exact model. It was a brother and it was great, except I'm going to tell you, as soon as you get a single needle embroidery machine, you're going to wish you had more needles. I'm not saying that you need a 10 needle, but I would maybe do a 5. It is super convenient to not have to change your colors every time you switch in the design. It's kind of a pain in the butt. So If I had to do it over again, my first one would have been maybe up at least 5 needle. Fierce Chocolate. Hello, Siah. Love your videos. Do you work on 2 different Louis at the same time or one at a time? I'm doing them one at a time right now. If I was remembering how I did this pattern, I probably would be doing them both at the same time, but I'm kind of giving myself a refresher on this first one to make sure I'm going to do the second one the same way, if that makes sense. All right, so there's my cute little gusset. I'm going to, you want to connect your base pieces down here so it's all one piece, and then I'll mark my centers and all that jazz. I started this video, guys, and my kids weren't even awake yet, so they're probably going to wake up in the next hour or so. Summer's rough for kids, right? Hi, Marie. Can't stay long. Working in the shop with my hubby, putting a 14x7 wide sheet of polymer on the bottom of an airboat. Wow. Good luck with that. The Mighty Hoop system is awesome. I have the sleeve 5.5 by 5.5 and the shirt extra large hoop stations. Dina, yeah, I just don't know with how, I don't know. I don't know if I would use my machine more if I got something like that. I don't know. I may have to look into it. I'm supposed to be writing a report for work, but here I am. Natalie, well. My granddaughter just broke up this afternoon. Broke up. Hmm? All right, so I have my full gusset. So I have done a couple of variations on this bag. I have done it where instead of doing just this little phalange piece on the side, you just do a whole other gusset piece and you bind the entire bag. That is an option. When it's done this particular way, this is meant to look like the Lululemon waist bag, right? And this is how that waist bag is made with that little phalange and how it tapers in on that front. So that's why this bag is designed that way. So it really is up to you whether you want to do a full 2-sided, you know, piece or you want to do it like this. I'll show you. We're going to turn the front panel out because we don't want to bind along. We don't want to have to bind along this zipper. So when you do add a whole second side to the zipper of a gusset instead of this little flange, then you can bind by both sides. That's kind of the advantage of doing it that way. And it does make your bag just a tiny bit bigger as well. So I'm pretty sure I've shown that in videos. It's been a hot second since I've made one of these, but I'm pretty sure I've shown that. And then I'm just marking my centers going this way too. look at embroidery stations, you will definitely use your embroidery machine more. I use the 5.5 station to embroider dog collars. Oh, that would be cute. All right, so there is that. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm kind of just following the pattern currently, so we're gonna do the strap of the bag and connect it to the back. Okay, so I have my wings here. I'm doing the larger one to use 1.5 inch webbing, and we'll be adding it onto our back panel. I am doing the webbing just a little different than what she has in the pattern. I am still doing a buckle, but I'm connecting it through the wings. I'm not sewing it on top. You'll see what I mean. Just melt it really good. Of course, I offered to do fun webbing and they chose black. So, I don't know, guys. Whatever. Whatever. All right, this first one, let's see. That's not even long enough. I'm going to make this first one for for Devin, for her boyfriend. So I'm going to make the strap. He is 6'4", super tall. So I think I need to make the strap longer rather than shorter. So for his, I'm going to err on the side of being bigger. Trying to get inspired for your next project by watching your tutorial making key fobs. Key fobs are great. I have made key fobs before. Those are fun. I'm going to do his strap. I don't know. What do you think? 50 for a crossbody? For a... What does she suggest? Let me see. She suggests... for 43 to 57. I think 50 is plenty. We can always shorten these straps after they try them on too if they need to. Okay. Are you at work, Ellie? Funny. Are you sure she is your daughter? Right? It's pretty funny. Okay, so this is just a really simple buckle. So one side I'm just going to have coming out of it like that. And then the other side will go through the adjuster and all that kind of good stuff. So I need to cut, I'm going to cut like, I'm going to cut a 6-inch cut off of this one for the buckle here. Again, it's been a hot second since I've made this. I could be doing this totally different than what I've done previously. Oh. Who knows? All right. Hi, Cynthia. All right, I'm just gonna sew this together real quick. And this other piece, actually, I can connect these pieces after the fact. So I think I'll do it at the end so it's not banging around when I'm trying to make my bag. All right, so I've got the wings here. I'm gonna fold them right sides together. Okay, and then this guy goes through this way. So it's the rounded edge I'm pretty sure I'm dealing with. Let me Yeah, it's this top rounded edge where you want your webbing to be poking out like that. Again, I'm doing this a little different than what she has in the pattern, so up to you what you want to do. Just make sure that your machine can handle, obviously this is going to be thicker than a snicker. So make sure your machine can handle it. I don't know why I said that. All right, so I'm just sewing this curved side. I'm leaving the straight side alone. All right, and then I'm just going to kind of trim this down a little bit. And we're going to pull it through. Yay, Stacy. Day off sewing. That's awesome. So I have extra in here because I'm going to sew that as well and make it all, make sure it's a little bit secured in there. So I'm just turning it out like that, and then I'm going to sew it. So these are the same wings that I added onto the clamshell, right? Yeah, the clamshell. It's a great shape of a wing. I really like it. All right, so that's what we're looking at. So I'm going to go ahead and just sew around all that. And I'll do a couple of top stitch rows here. All right, and then I'm going to go again. And honestly, you could do as many as you wanted. I think I normally, I don't know, do 2 or 3. I'm not sure. I'm just going to do 2, I think. So that's what that looks like. And then I'm also going to sew along right there to secure that buckle because I don't want it flopping all over the place. So I'm just going to do a row of stitching right there as well. Beautiful. Yeah, I like kind of sewing that so it doesn't flop all over the place. Okay, so same thing for this one, except I'm going to attach all the hardware after the fact for this. Okay. So if this ends up being too big, I can trim this one down in the end if I need to. I'm going to redo that curve real quick. I didn't do that the best. There we go. Banana pattern. Who's that by? All right, and then I'm just gonna top stitch just like I did with the other one. Made by L Pattern. Oh, awesome. I'll have to look at it. All right, so now that I have these, I'm going to go ahead and attach them to my back panels. And I actually can go ahead and put the back piece on here too, which is going to be this. I'm going to baste this on as well because this back panel is going to be bound and turned, and the front panel is going to be birthed. So let's just do this all at once here. Okay. Beautiful. And then my wings, I don't know if it matters which side is which, go an inch down, which is usually right where that zipper is. So let's see. Yeah. Just make sure it's even on both sides, whatever you choose to do. And I'm just going to baste all of this at once. Hi, Sharon. It does matter because of the buckle. The buckle is the same either way. All right, here we go. Just gonna baste this all the way around. Don't people realize I'm listening to a live and they have to call me? That's funny. All right, so this is my back panel. It's all done and ready to go. I'm going to put that aside, and I think we'll work on the front now. Yeah, okay. So let's see. This is going to be for Devin. So I'm going to grab this one, and another lining piece. Okay. I need to clip my centers on all of this real quick. I don't think I did that previously. Nope. So let's do some center clipping. All right, so I want the exterior front side. So again, we are birthing this front side through the bottom here. So I want to turn this right side out. And we are working with our zipper edge for this. And I am going to open this up because that's always easier. And I'm like, should I tape? Could. Let's see how tight this is. I don't know. I don't know what this is going to fit like. I don't remember all of those good things. So let's just check this out first. Pretty good. I think I'm going to switch to my metal clips. All right, so I did clip my sides here, right there. All right, I'm going to have to clip that curve for sure. And this one will be okay. We'll be okay on this one. Okay. Not bad. Not bad, guys. And you know me, I do not like to clip into my zipper. The big zipper debate, right? Whether to clip or not to clip. I like to err on the side of being safe, and I don't like to clip into my zipper unless I'm marking a tiny center spot. So totally up to you. All right, I am gonna have to just do some snips down here in this part of the gusset, which is fine. Oh, hi Trisha. Welcome to my channel. All right, so that should fit better now that I clipped. And we're just gonna situate that in there. Love these metal clips that keep everything secure. And they don't break on me like the stupid plastic ones. All right. So yeah, I mean, that fit okay. And I used all of the seam allowances that are in the pattern for that. It's a little tight, but I think we're okay. I think we'll be okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to baste this layer first, but along the bottom edge where my turn hole is, I'm going to sew that at my full seam allowance down there. The only thing I change in this pattern so far is I'm doing a 1/4 inch seam allowance instead of a 3/8, like around my zippers and around this part. So, oh, I already snipped into it. So I will be only doing a 1/4 inch seam allowance, just FYI. Heidi, hi. I am using the bonded nylon smoothie smooth from Tulip Bee. And it's kind of fabulous if you use it for a bag like this. No interfacing is needed, which I'm always here for that, right? All right, and then right up here. Okay. Now you could totally do a 3/8 inch seam allowance on this part. I would have to switch to a zipper foot if I was doing that. You could do that. But I'm just keeping it at a 1/4, I think. All right. So I have that layer all clipped on. I'm going to go ahead and baste. You could probably tape it. I don't know. I feel like this kind of bag, you need to have it nice and secure with a stitch before you add the other layer. Okay, so along the bottom edge here, I'm doing a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and then the rest I'm doing an 1/8. Because this will be my turn hole, I need this layer here to be at the same seam allowance as when I put on my second piece, as when I put on my lining. And my lining is put on at a 1/4 inch. So I'm going to sew just along here at that 1/4 inch. All right, ready? For ready. Let's go. So 1/4 inch right here. Okay, and now I'm going to do the rest at the 1/8 inch basting stitch. So this will be my turn hole when I add the lining. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. And if you've been watching me a while, you know that when I do gussets like this, I say gussets up. I like to sew with my gusset piece facing up. I feel like I have more control over my pieces and the shifting of it. But again, to each their own, and it's what you're comfortable with. Some people do it the other way. So there's no wrong or right way to do this part, but this is, you will see me almost always do it gussets up, okay? I'm just trying really hard not to have my corner slip right there. All right, looks good. I have had people ask me, well, can't you just bind both the front and back panel on this bag? You could, but I have found when you do binding along a zipper like this, it almost always gets in the way of opening and closing the bag. So I do not like to bind along the zippers, and I'm pretty sure that's why the bag was written this way. So you're not fighting that. Hi, Marty. Hi, Rose. Okay. Looks pretty good. I have the tiniest pucker right here, but I think that will be smoothed out when I add the lining. And it's the tiniest pucker. I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, so now you want to, thank you, Marty. Now you want to sandwich the lining on top, right sides together. I know it's black on black and you guys can't tell, so I really apologize. Blame the kids. I don't know what to tell you about that. All right, so now I'm again going to not sew, well, not again. Now, this time, I'm not going to sew from here to here because that's where my turn hole is, all right? So let's just get this all clipped on, and hopefully I can do it nice and smooth. Then after this, guys, it's just binding the back, and I'm done with the first bag. It's actually a very quick, simple bag to make once you've done it a few times. Yeah. I do love a Louie. All right. So when you go to do these curves, you just really want to make sure, you know what, just a minute. I'm like, do I trim that down? I think I'll go and follow my stitching along the other side when I sew this up. I will go slow around my curves because I really want my curves not to have any puckers in them, you know, when I sew those up. Louie is your favorite too, Rose? Yeah, it's a good make. And it's the bag that I carry normally. So my lining is a little bit like wanting to be bigger, which I know some people take a little bit off of their lining when they do bags like this. So I'm like, should I do that? We're going to just try it. And you know, I have slick material on slick material, so it's going to be just a little trickier, but the end result is going to look really nice. Okay. I'm going to sew along the back side of this bag just so I can look at my previous seam allowance and make sure that everything is matching up good. You were confused as to why I sewed the bottom at the 1/4 inch seam allowance, Annette? Yeah. It's hard to explain. It's easier to show when you're all done and people are like, oh, now I see why you did that. Because if I were just to baste along my turn hole area the first time around, when I turned it out, that turn hole will be at a different seam allowance than the rest of the bag. And we don't want that. All right, almost there. All right, I'm just making sure that this is all smooth in here. Okay, here we go. So I'm gonna go from the side where I can see my basting stitches. So I know where to begin and end my turn hole, right? And I can see my previous basting stitches. So I'm gonna take it nice and slow. Here we go. I feel like there is a pucker down here. Come on. Just a minute. I really want to make sure this is smooth. And I don't know what's happening. Yep, that would have totally caused a pucker. My gusset was folded weird down in there. There we go. You lay flat, dude. Really important that you just like feel your material. If I would have just been like, let's just see what happens, I would have had a really big pucker right there. I may have to go in over here too and do the same thing. Not today, pucker. That's right. That's right, Annette. There we go. All right, let's try that again. Hi, Jenna. How are you? All right, fingers crossed. Let's see what we did. I'm going to trim a little of this extra lining, not my zipper. Just a little bit of that lining that's sticking out there. Okay. And then right here. And up here. It's always good to, you know, if you can trim the material on your curve at all, do it. Okay, so we're going to turn this out. Let's see if we got any puckers. Now this is a little bit harder material to get smooth because it is so slick, right? So we'll see how we did. All right, let's see what we got. That looks pretty dang good. You guys, I think we we did it. That looks pretty good. Yay! Ta-da! All right, so once we top stitch this, it'll look even better. What I need to do is put some tape and tape this hole closed and in place for when I top stitch, it will close this hole up, okay? So I'm just gonna put a piece of tape from here to here and place my lining where it needs to go, just a little bit over that stitching. And then my top stitch should catch the lining, okay? In theory. It doesn't always work out perfectly like that. Sometimes you don't catch it. But yeah. Hi, Kristen from Belgium. Hello. Okay. Come on, Skip. Looks pretty dang good, guys. All right, so I'm going to take this tape off and gently put my lining piece where I want it, which is easier said than done sometimes. All right, stay. All right, and then I like to top stitch it from the inside like this. Don't I? Is that how I top stitch it? Yeah. Susan, hi. You have still never made this bag. That's okay. All right, here we go. We're gonna top stitch this sucker. I like to start down at the bottom here. That is quite a nifty little organizer for your sewing tools. Would you share the designer? You mean this little caddy right here? It's the Molly caddy, and Miss Danny from Measure and Cut is working hard to write the pattern up, and I will have a video for it when she's ready. So for sure we will be sharing that. I'm going to check. Yep, you see how I caught my lining right there? So we're good on that. My hole is closed. Okay. All good. Now all I have to do is put on the back piece with binding, and I'm done. Okay, so that's the inside. We did it. Turn it. When using the bonded nylon, do you use the same stitch length as when you do vinyl? Yeah, I do, Lori. All right, you could probably go a little bit smaller on your stitches with the nylon if you wanted to. Oh, you guys, that turned out pretty dang good. I'm happy with that. Okay, that might be the best looking front gusset I've done yet for that. So there's the front. Oh, he's cute. And there's the inside. All right, so now we're going to attach the back. Yay! Oh, I'm happy with that. Okay. So let's get our back it's got the buckle. All right, so we want it right sides facing each other, and now we're just going to attach the back panel. I like to do it 1/4 inch seam allowance. I don't know if I'm going to baste it first or not. Let's see how it fits first. I may baste it first. So cute, it's magical. Thanks, Donna. I hope they love these. They promised me they would take cute pictures at Disney wearing these, so they better. Okay. Now with this back panel, I can snip in all of my curves because I don't have zipper tape up against anything. So we can make this fit nice and tight. Hi, Evelyn. So So your thickness on this bag is going to be right along here where your connector is. Okay, that's your main point of thickness. And I did not mark my center on this, did I? Oh wait, there's one. Right there and right there. Okay. So just make sure whatever you use, do you see how thick that's gonna be? My machine can handle it just fine, but just be aware of that on your machines, guys. Second side always goes on easier, Donna. Absolutely. That is for sure. Which is a good thing, because by the second side, my hand is always tired. All right, I'm going to do some clipping into this gusset here. The new clips are great, aren't they? These clips are awesome, especially for doing gussets. It just really helps everything stay put. Definitely my favorite. Okay. I need to find some black fold over elastic. I didn't get that out before the video, so hopefully I have some in my drawer. Heidi, I know that was happening to me on my iPad the other day on a YouTube. I think that's just a glitch for YouTube. I don't know what's going on. It hasn't happened today, but that happened to me constantly the other day when I was on a live. I'm so sorry. I don't think there's anything I can do, unfortunately. Yeah, I think it's a YouTube issue. This bottom corner is super tight. Super duper tight. But I think we'll be okay. Ugh, I'm sorry, guys. One thing that fixed it for me when I was having that issue the other day was I clicked up where the ad was and I blocked the ad. Once I blocked the ad, it stopped going black. I don't know if that'll help or not. Try that. I'm so sorry, guys. That's frustrating. Yeah, I think the glitch is with the ad. So just block the ad and then maybe it'll stop doing that. That's what worked for me last time. Alrighty, so I think I'm just gonna go for it at the full 1/4 inch for this. And then let me see if I have some black. Looks like I do. All right, some black fold over elastic. Look how nicely I just rolled. Ha 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 ha. Okay. here we go. So I'm just doing a 1/4 inch all around. I like to start at the bottom. For me, I don't know. It's just easiest. It's a glitch on the mobile app. Yeah, I think it's the mobile app for sure that the issue is with. Hi, Becky. Oh my gosh. Sometimes these clips, they're great, but they're hard to get off. All right. All right, so I slipped just a tiny bit right there. I'm just going to trim that down even because I want it even with my pieces when I go to do my elastic. That's okay. And down here. I believe that's always how it works for me on this bag. My 2 bottom curves slip just a tiny bit. All right, let's put on our elastic. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of do a little guesstimating here. About right there. Let's try that. Let's measure this piece so I know for the next one how long I need to do it. So this is 20. I cut it at 26. So let's see if that works. Do you have a hard time seeing thread when doing black? Not yet. I'm sure I will eventually. I know it's super hard to see it when I'm doing videos. Oh, my iPad just died. Shoot. Is it not plugged in? Yay. All right. Well, that's where this is going to come in handy. Just a minute, guys. My iPad just went dark. Let's see if I can pull up comments on here. Let me turn down the sound. Nope. my gosh. I don't know where the volume is on this. Okay. Where's the volume? Seriously, I just got this. Settings. Sound. Volume. Volume. Okay. All right. Hey, there you are. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. My iPad is dead. Even though it's plugged in. Bummer. All right, here we go. Let's sew this on. I'm going to do it 1/2 inch seam allowance on this. Oh, but this doesn't stay on? Come on. How do I get this to stay on? I don't know, guys. Technology. I didn't know my iPad was dead before we started this. So there may be a timeout setting you have to adjust. Annette, why are you so smart? All right, so let's go to display. And yep, sleep after 1 minute. Let's do never for right now. Okay. What would I do without my friends? Did you hit play? Yes, I hit play. Yes. All right, question. Do you send your products to Canada? I sure do. Yes, I do. It's not cheap to ship international, but yes. Sure do. All right, here we go. Let's add our binding. We'll let my iPad charge for a hot second, and then maybe I can switch back to my iPad. What did I cut this to? Oh my gosh, I already forgot. Did I say 26? 26, right? See, these are the things I should use my new toy and write. I could probably do a little bit smaller than 26. Okay, yes, I did. Okay, that's good to know. All right. All right, come on, baby. Oh, my tummy just growled. You know, I had a huge dinner last night. I joined a book club that my friend invited me to join, which it's been good because I've been able to make some new acquaintances and friends. But she hired a hibachi company to come in and do a hibachi night in her house. It was supposed to be on her rooftop, but it was raining like crazy, so she had to move it in her house. Anyways, We did a hibachi night in her house. It was so much fun. And I ate so much food. We had lots of sake. There's sake on her walls because they were shooting it at us with a water gun. But it was super fun. And I came home super full and I woke up starving. Like I am absolutely starving right now. I'm like, how does that work? I don't even know. Okay. I should write it down on my pattern. Okay. This is what I'm going to do right now. We're going to go here. This is why I got this, you guys. I got this so I can go there and here. And let's see. I can just write. Okay, how do I write? Nope. Okay. Will it let me write? How do I write? Oh, see? And this is the stuff I have to, oh, right here. Okay. Let's do elastic cut to, let's do 20. I think like it could go to 25. Save. That's pretty cool, right? Okay. So fancy. All right, let's sew this on. Okay, here we go. Let's sew this on. I don't know what it is, but if I eat close to bedtime, I always wake up famished. Yeah. I don't, maybe that's it. I don't know what is happening. I had a breakfast sandwich. What time is it? Well, I guess it's lunchtime. I guess I didn't realize how late it was. I'm starving. So silly. I don't like to do the metal clips for the elastic because it's way too hard to get the metal clips off of the elastic. Whoa, my foot just went crazy. Now this shut off. Okay. So yeah, that's why I'm using plastic clips for this part. It may not be sleep mode. It may be screen mode. Yeah. Maybe. Went a little crazy up here. It looks okay though. Ta-da! All right, let's see what we got, guys. I mean, I think it's good. Do you use staples instead of clips? I only use staples when it's absolutely necessary for really hard curves. I am not a fan of staples because I don't like taking them out. That's usually if I have a really hard curve, then I will do a basting stitch first in place of staples, but every once in a while I'll have to staple something. Yeah. All right, guys, bag number 1. What do we think? There he is. Of course, I'll finish adding the buckle, but I think they're really gonna like these. That's really cute. All right, so let's just add the buckle real quick, and then we'll get going on the second one. The second one should go pretty quick. I used 0 stabilizer, Marty. 0. This bag doesn't need stabilizer it's made for nylon. This style of bag is the Lululemon style, and all of those bags are made out of nylon. So you don't need at all any stabilizer if you're doing it this way. Cotton, obviously, whoops, that's not what I want. Cotton, obviously, yes, you would need stabilizer, but you don't need it for this. All right, let me make sure I'm putting this buckle on correctly. Is there a right or a wrong way? I don't think there is. Oh, referring to the stabilizer, I used cutaway, not tearaway. Marty, I don't know if that's what you were asking. I used cutaway stabilizer. All right, so I'm just gonna go like this. And then up and through here. You know, this is adjustable and that. Interesting. That'll be okay. That'll be all right. All right, I'm going to connect this. I answered what you were asking? Okay. This is all just bonded nylon, and it actually makes such a good shaped bag. Especially for these smaller bags, absolutely. I'm gonna do 2 rows of stitching on this part. Okay. You guys, that turned out so good. All right, so now I have to do the second one. I gotta do Annabelle's now. This is Devin's. Love. Let's move on to Anna's. Here. Oh, we go. What am I going to start with? I want to start with the back. Okay, I'm going to get my pattern pieces out. Here, I'm going to go to the front of the pattern to make sure I'm doing the right thing here. Thank you, guys. All right, so we got to do, I'm going to do the back here. I shouldn't watch when you embroider because then I need it. Marty, you're funny. All right, let's see. Zipper. You know what? What about if I wonder if she would hate me if I did red zipper tape for hers instead of black. You guys, do you think she would hate me if I did red zipper tape? Wouldn't that look so much cuter for the girl? What do you think? I think it would look so much cuter if I did red for hers. Have you ever bound the entire bag? Yeah, I talked about that at the beginning. I'm totally doing red zipper tape for her. She's just going to have to deal with it. Yes. So if you're going to do a bound Louie all the way around, I would suggest making the gusset a full gusset on both sides, which I'm pretty sure, I'm almost positive I've done a video like that before where I made it a full two-sided gusset and didn't do the little flange piece. And then I just bound the entire bag. It gives the bag just a little bit different of a shape, which is not a bad thing. It doesn't give you that. So with this bag, it kind of goes in, right? And then your zipper is right up front. So if you were to add to this and make this a full gusset piece, it makes it a little wider and your zipper is in the middle. But that is the way I would do it if you wanted to bind the entire bag, because I don't think you should bind by that zipper. But that's just my 2 cents. So, you know, take it or leave it. All right, so I'm going to put my zipper. So this is my back bottom piece. And I'm putting my zipper on. And then I want to sandwich my other back bottom piece, which is this one right here. Ooh, I think this is going to look really cute with the red zipper, you guys. She'll either hate me or love me for it. I don't know. Who knows, guys? You think you know what your kid likes, and then you're wrong. So, all the time. I like to add my zipper pull at the end of this whole piecing together, just so I'm not fighting it the whole time. So this is the back exterior zipper pocket, and I am going to do it at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. In the pattern, she has it at a bigger seam allowance. Totally up to you. It works out fine because you have to trim this piece down no matter what. So, yeah. Either way will work. All right. And then I want to top stitch. My daughter is 31 and I still can't live with her. Yeah, Becky, I feel you. I've got 28, 19, and 12. And just when I think I know what they like, I am totally wrong. So yeah. I never assume anymore. I make sure and ask before I do anything for those girls. I miss the days when they were little and they liked everything you did, right? I will say with the bonded nylon materials or any kind of slick type of materials, you really need to make sure that both sides are getting pulled evenly down, and like, because the back side of a nylon material could slip up and could be uneven on the back, which has happened to me before. So I make sure I'm pulling down both sides. It is smoothie smooth. It's nylon. All right, and then I want the back lining piece and my back top piece. This tape actually, Annette, is my lipstick red, which I am currently out of stock. But I do have the apple cinnamon. It's just, apple cinnamon's just a shade darker. I need to get restocked with lipstick red. I was looking at that the other day and like, oh, I need some more lipstick red. It's hard to keep all the colors in stock. It's nylon. Are you talking about the material? It's nylon, Linda. Website says poly. Annette, isn't the Smoothie Smooth nylon or is it poly? Have I been saying the wrong thing this whole time? It's bonded poly. Oh my gosh, seriously. Why did I think it was nylon? I swear somebody told me it was nylon. Well, Linda, I'm so sorry. It is polyester. All right, and then I'm piecing this top piece on, sandwich. I only said nylon this one time. Okay, cool. I don't know, guys. You know how many different materials I sew with all the time? I get confused even. All right, here we go. Sorry, Linda. Oh, it's funny. All right, and then I'm just clipping out this top piece and going to top stitch that. Okay, so now we need to cut this down. So what I'm gonna do is draw. So this dotted line on this piece is supposed to be your zipper, right? So she has your zipper right here. So I want it to stay right there. And you want that to be nice and straight. And now I'm just going to draw around it. Ah. Moved it. Silly me. Did it move on this side? No. That's good. All right. Put on my pole. I'm so mad. Like when I cleaned out my room over Christmas, I got rid of almost all my Disney stuff because I never sew Disney things, right? And so when my daughter asked me to make these bags, I'm like, oh yeah, I probably have some cute zipper pulls and some tags. I had nothing. I got rid of all of it. I'm like, just kidding. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna baste right next to this line and then I'll cut it to the shape. Done because they leave Sunday, so it is what it is. All right, so now I'm going to cut it out to that shape I traced. I don't like to use those scissors on my zipper teeth. These are my zipper teeth scissors. There we go. Frozen? Oh, okay. Is it all right? Okay. Beautiful. So that's my back panel. Melt that zipper end. And then I'm going to go ahead and just do my wings and based on my back piece. Now that I've made this once, I'm like, okay, yeah, I remember how to do this. So we're just going to go ahead and piece together the wings and all that kind of good stuff. All right. Maybe. Where are my wings at? Okay. And then let's cut some webbing. Wouldn't this be cute with red webbing? Yeah. I wish you would let me do red webbing for this. It's okay. It's okay. Tag. I have a tag on the inside of the lining already. I already sewed those on. So 40. Anna is a petite little thing. And I don't think the strap needs to be that long. I'm just going to do, gosh, maybe 45. Even that might be too long for her. So we're going to have to just, we'll see. 45 might be way too long. No, that may be right. That may be good. All right, because then I have to cut, I don't know. Yeah, she's just a little thing. 6 inches there, which makes it 40. That might be plenty long for her. She's mini. Okay. All right, so we just want this piece here. I'm going to put it through. Now, if you didn't want a double layer of webbing in your wing, you could always piece the buckle up like this, sew that on really good, and just have the single piece going through. That is totally an option. All right, here we go. Let's piece these together. I don't think I'm going to stick it through as much as I did on my last one. That's probably good right there, I think. I'm going to do it about right there. Does that look good? That looks good. All right, here we go. Hi, Jess. Welcome. All right, pull this through. My chair's squeaky. Okay, I'm going to top stitch that. And then I'm going to do it one more time around here. Beautiful. My daughter-in-law loves every bag I've made for her and actually wears them too. Aw, Mom, that's awesome. All right, and then I'm just going to do a row of stitching right up here so that buckle doesn't flail around. Okay, beautiful. Okay, next side. Here, I'm just gonna stick it through. Right there. I'm just putting about enough to get caught, you know, in those 2 rows of stitching there. Maybe a little bit more. There we go. And again, I do this a little bit different than what she has on the pattern. So I mean, there's a couple different ways you could have this bag hang, you know. So just do whatever you're comfortable with. Both of them love the Annabelles I made for them. Oh, yay, Donna. I'm so glad. And I'm making this bag for my Annabelle right now. How about that? let's top stitch her up. Oh. All right, second row. All right, wings done. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and piece the back panel together so I can be done with that. And the back panel is gonna have this name tag one. So I'm gonna clip. This does not have its centers, so let's put its centers on real quick. We're gonna need that, guys. I want to try this bag so bad, but the zipper top phalange scares me. It's not as hard as you think it is with that, and I'll show you. We'll do that next. I'll show you. It's not that hard. And you really have a lot of room for mistakes on it too. It doesn't need to be perfect. I got you. I got you. We're going to do that next. And you know, I would suggest if that part scares you, the whole phalange piece, practice on a scrap piece of zipper first. Just practice it. It's small enough that you could cut a couple out and, you know, do a trial run on a spare piece of zipper tape before you do it on your actual bag. Or you can just make it a full two-sided zipper gusset, like I was talking about to bind the bag. Both of those options are good options. All right, so I think on the last one, I did this piece on this side. So let's make them the same. So we're gonna go here. I'm just gonna baste, I'm basting it all at once, okay? All right, because this is the bound side of the bag. So I've got my back panel, my lining, wrong sides together, right sides out. And then I have my wings clipped on. And we're just going to baste this all the way around. And then we'll put this to the side. Done. Okay, so there's my back panel. We're going to put that aside. Let's work on our zipper, our main zipper, okay? So zipper measurements are in the pattern for the two different size of bags. Okay, so cut it to the size you want. I'm not going to add on my zipper pull until the end. All right, so we're going to go over this phalange piece. Now, I've done videos on this before. All right, and I know this is all black, so it's a little harder to see, but I'll try my best to explain this. So you have 4 pieces. They're mirrored, okay? And you're going to be putting them on the same side of your zipper, top and bottom. Okay, so let's work on this side first. So you want to baste your back piece on first. So this phalange, one side is straight. The other one has kind of an angle. The straight side is the side that you want to line up with the edge of your zipper down here at the bottom. So straight, straight. And we are just going to baste the lining side on first, right here, okay? Baste it. Don't tape it, because if you tape it on the next step, it'll be a little bit more difficult to maneuver and get it laying in the right place. So I would highly recommend basting this part. I'm making the medium, Betsy, so the bigger size. Okay, so I have that one. It's my lining side. So this is the right side and this is the wrong side of the zipper. That's basted there. Okay, that's what that looks like. So I want to sandwich the exterior on top, straight side. Okay, right sides together here. Oh, I don't have my marking on it. Just a minute. There is a marking on your pattern piece for kind of where you're going to be pivoting. And mine's just going to be a little bit different placement because I am doing a 1/4 inch seam allowance instead of a 3/8. But the idea is the same. All right, and I'm going to get you in so you can kind of see this a little bit better. All right. So now I'm going to sew my full seam allowance. And when I get to this marking right here with my needle, I'm going to stop, okay, with my needle in the machine. And again, mine's not going to be right at that point because I'm using the smaller seam allowance. So I'm just going kind of close to it. All right, so I'm stopping right there. Then I'm taking my little stiletto tool is what I like to use. And my needle is in my material. I'm going to lift my foot up. I'm going to kind of pull my 2 pieces. So I'm going to pull my zipper tape this way. And I'm holding it in the back, okay? And it's going to kind of pull this piece to the edge. So you want this slant of the phalange to line up with the edge of your zipper. So you're going to pull that, and I'm making sure the lining is there with it too. And I like to use my stiletto and kind of push things down to where I want it. Okay, and I'm going to hold both the pieces in place there with my stiletto tool. And my lining is right behind it, and I want to turn it. Just like that. And now I'm going to sew till I get to this tip. So it kind of sews off of the zipper tape, but you're sewing it at an angle. And I will show you up close. So it's going to kind of turn, it kind of turns your zipper a little bit right there, but do you see how I stopped there? I pulled it to the edge and I sewed to the tip of that piece. When I say this doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be perfect. Seriously, it does not have to be perfect. The whole idea is that it's just kind of a gradual onto your zipper tape. Your seam allowance, well, my seam allowance is going to be a 1/4 inch. So as long as my 1/4 inch goes over where that raw edge is and will cover it and catch it, you're golden. So when you do this, if you do a 3/8 inch I feel like it's a little trickier because you have a little bit more to be pulling over, but either way works. So basically you're just trying to stop here, pull your piece to the edge of your zipper, and then sew off to the corner. Like I said, practice a couple times and you'll get it. It doesn't need to be perfect, but that's what you're going for. And then you just want to pull them both out and top stitch. I have showed this a few times in my videos making this bag. I've made it quite a few times on videos. So if that explanation doesn't cut it for you, go watch a different one, and I explain it quite a few times. Just don't let it stress you out and make you not want to sew this bag, because it is not the end of the world. It is not the end all be all for having this bag turn out successful. You are so welcome. Hopefully that helps. So when I go to the next piece, I'm going to add it to the same side of my zipper. Okay, so now I'm adding it to this side. Okay, so we're just gonna do the same thing all over again. Get the right one here. I'm gonna baste straight edge to straight edge here. Actually, for this one, you want to start with the exterior side and baste that on first. Just because of you want to start from here and go forward, and you're going to be on the back side of your zipper. So I'm going to baste the exterior first. Make sure you add your dot. The seam allowance at the end, yeah, we'll catch most of it. Absolutely. Okay, and now I'm going to put the back piece on here. All right, and then we're just going to repeat. Hi, Connie. All right, here we go. So I'm going to stop right there. Where did I put my stiletto? Yeah. Okay. And then I'm going to just pull until they both line up here along the corner or the edge of my zipper tape. Now that is lined up with that. And then I'm going to just sew to that corner. That one's not as perfect. When I tell you it's not going to matter, it's really not going to matter. It's going to look good, even if you don't get it perfect. Hi, Rosa. My bobbin should be okay. I have a full one over here ready to go if it runs out. Now, I have made this bag both ways with this little flange and with a 2 full double-sided gusset. This is the way I prefer. I like this style better. It looks cuter. Like visually it looks better. Totally up to you how you want to do it, obviously. But from my experience, I like the look of this style better. So take it for what it's worth. Oh, I need to zoom out my camera again. Just a minute. There we go. Hi, Tammy. You're good. We're just sewing up some Louie's. Now, because I am doing that bigger seam allowance around everything, I am going to have to trim this whole thing down to match my base. And that's fine. I'm okay with that. This part, you don't have to base. You can just tape. Where's my center? Right there. Are you using the Mevo to zoom in and out? Yes, I am. Pretty cool, right? Tammy, thank you. I'm like, I cut a few inches off my hair. I keep freezing. Am I doing that to everybody or just Dawn? I cut like, I don't know, 4 inches off my hair, maybe 5. And now I want to cut more. That is the problem. I'm always like, cut it all off. Dawn, maybe go out and come back in. That might help fix it. Well, I do have all my kids home, so who knows who's on the internet right now. So it could be my end. I don't know. All right, here we go. I wonder if my iPad is up and running now. Yeah, I'm going to switch back to my iPad. It's got some juice now. All right. Come on, baby. All right, there we go. Haven't cut my hair in about 1.5 years. It's halfway down my back. Wendy, I haven't had like a good chop of my hair. Like I trim it, but I haven't chopped it off in quite a while either. So it was time for a change. All right, so now I'm going to top stitch this, and I know for sure I'm going to have to trim it down. because with the seam allowance I used, it's going to be too big. And that is okay. So I'm not going to baste this side yet because I know I'm going to have to trim it down. I'm going to get my base piece and see how much I need to trim it down. Just knocking things everywhere here. Let's see. Yeah, that's about as much as I had to cut off last time. I think that's like a 1/2 inch. Yep. All right, so I'm just going to cut a 1/2 inch off. And then it should be good to go. Now, obviously, I would rather cut it off this bigger side than have it, my rotary is dull, than have it on the flange because I don't want to lose any of the width of that. I had to think of the word. So yeah, so I'm cutting it all on this side. That's what I did on the last one too, and it turned out good. All right. Beautiful. T. Hi, Kassiah and chat. Love your name. My nephew's name is Josiah, and of course we call him Siah too. Oh, that's awesome. All right, so now I'm going to baste this so it's all one, and then we'll add the bottom gusset. And I need to put my pull on. Can't forget that. So when you sew the zipper at 3/8, does that just show more of the zipper? So no, it shows less of the zipper. So if you sew the zipper panel on at 3/8 around your zipper, it's going to show less of your zipper. It's going to be closer. You'll be sewing closer to the zipper teeth. All right, I'm going to put my base pieces on and finish this up. We are cruising right along, guys. Like, how long have I been on here? 2 hours? Okay. Okay, so I'm sitting here debating. The first bag, I sewed this at a 3/8 inch seam allowance, and it was pretty freaking tight. I'm going to sew it at 1/4 on each side. It doesn't give me much more leeway, but it gives me a tiny bit. So let's see if you can tell the difference, if I can tell the difference with doing a smaller seam allowance right here. So I am going to change that part. So if I like that better, I need to write that down in my pattern. Right? All right, and then we're going to top stitch. And then this side. I want to say on my other videos, that's what I did. I did a smaller seam allowance right here, but it's been so long. I could be wrong. Yep, I'm going to write it on my tablet, Annette. If this is the better way, I'm going to do it. Okay, I just need to connect these base pieces together. And I don't know. Anna's either gonna love or hate the red zipper tape. Beats me. All right, here we go. Bye, Rosa. Thanks for joining. Now, if this was my bag, I would be using red, my lipstick red thread for sewing this all together. How cute would that be? Ugh, that would be so cute. But, alas. That's true. That'll be easier for them to tell whose is whose. Yes, for sure. All right, I'm going to mark my centers, and then we're going to work on that front panel. think I need to add red to the Smoothie Smooth lineup. Yes, Annette, that would be amazing. I looked and I didn't have, like I told her I could find like a red polka dot or a heart. I had 0 red. I don't have any red linings. That would be amazing. All right, so let's get our front panel here. I need to clip my centers. Yay, Annette, I need to talk to you about Swag Dash too. I need to sit and figure that out. So will you remind me after this video and we can just crank that out? All right, I'm going to go ahead and mark the centers on my last lining piece here too. Okay, perfect, Annette. We'll chat after this video. All right, here we go. You know, I may just get this front panel on and be done with this video for today because I'm getting tired and hungry. So there's that. All right, so I want to open this up. Here we go. I'm going to use my metal clips for this. All right, let's get our top centered here. There it is. I'm like, where did I clip it? I know I clipped it right there. All right, we're going to see how this, if this fits any better here, if it's not as hard to get the corners. We'll see. RD Styles, we'll see you later. Good luck. All right, I'm gonna come over here. Let's do this side. let me cut into this bottom gusset here. It's fitting pretty good. It fit pretty good around the zipper, so we'll see how it fits around these two bottom curves. There we go. It's still pretty tight. I don't know, man. It fits a little better though. Yeah, I will definitely write in on my pattern to do a 1/4 inch seam allowance on this gusset next time too. I think it fits just a little better. It's still tight enough, but not too tight, if that makes sense. All right, let's sew it. So I am going to, again, like I showed you on the first one we did, I will do a 1/4 inch seam allowance from here to here because that's going to be my turn hole. So this needs to be sewn at the main seam allowance, and then the rest I'm going to base on at 1/8. And if you're like, huh? Why is she doing it that way? It makes sense at the very end. I promise you. All right, and now the rest. So I did my 1/4 inch seam allowance from here to here. The rest I'm gonna do a basting 1/8 inch. Yeah, you could lengthen your gusset if you wanted to. I wouldn't do it by much though. Dropping everything. All right. Beautiful. Beautiful. Let's put on our lining. So with our lining, I am now not going to sew from here to here where our bigger seam allowance was, because that's going to be my turn hole. And again, it makes more sense at the very end. Trust the process. I'm making really sure that my zipper is nice and flat right there on that curve. Okay. You don't want that getting all puckered up in your seam. Now I'm going to go to my base real quick. Here. I really want this to lay so it's not puckering. Okay, work on this top piece here. I use way more clips when I add the lining on because I just really want everything to lay really nice in there, okay? Double, triple check your layers because it will make all the difference when you're doing a bag like this. Oh my gosh. My fingers are like, I'm done. Okay. Nylon's a little tricky because it's slippery, right? And so you just really want to make sure it's not slipping and folding over on itself in between your layers. So I just double check there. Okay, I think we're good. All right, so when I sew this on, I'm gonna go from the end of that turn hole at the bottom and stop at the other end and leave that opening. Okay. Let's do it. I like to sew it from this side where I can see my first row of stitching for the basting. And off we go. So I'm starting right down here. Bobbin sounds like it's getting a little low, so I'm going to check it before I top stitch this. All right, here's where we tell if I did a good job or not. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna trim my extra little corners down here. I don't want that extra material in there. I'm not trimming my zipper tape. Don't trim your zipper tape. All right, let's see what we got. Looks good on that corner. Let's push out this one. Looks good. Think we did it. Yay, 2 for 2, guys. The tiniest bit right there, but when we top stitch, it kind of flattens it out and makes it look pretty dang good. So I'm not gonna worry myself with that. It looks pretty good. Okay, yay! Doing good, doing good. Oh, these are gonna be so cute. Okay, I need to take the lining in place here. And when we top stitch, we'll close up this little hole, okay? Yay, yeah. Love it when a plan comes together. Name the TV show. Hi, Dawn. Oh, Dawn was already on here. I'm like, oh, does somebody need to join? All right, let's peel off this. Got myself a narrow zipper foot like yours. I love that I can do zipper closure without changing. Yes. I just like the narrow foot overall. It just makes a difference, doesn't it? All right, got that taped to where I want it, and I am going to sew it from the inside, but I'm going to check my bobbin real quick before I do that. Okay, let's check that out and see what we got going on. Oh, it's enough to top stitch. All right. Here we go. And I think once I get this top stitched, I'll be done with this video because I need to take a break. Okay, here we go. I'll post pictures of both of them when I'm done on all the groups. Come on, thread. All right. Thank you, Linda. I'll show you the one that I actually finished before this one. Before we stop. All right, all top stitched. I'll check her out, make sure I got the lining part. I haven't checked. Oh yeah, we good. Got that lining closed with it. All right. Hi, Amber. Hi, Leslie. All right, so here is, oh, I love the red zipper with it. I think that's a good little addition, huh? So here is the front of her pack all done. And then we'll add the back to it. I'm going to have to take a break, though. I think that's the end of my video. So here's the first one we did, right? So here is Devin's little... Here's Devin's and here's Anna's. You guys, how cute are those going to be? I'm glad I did the different zipper tape. I think that's going to be a cute little contrast for them. But that's it. I just have to add the back panel onto that and bind it. And then we are good. Okay, that's all I got for you today. I'm going to go eat and give my hands a break. Thank you guys so much for watching. Yeah, I don't know if I'll be on again before my trip this weekend. I'm joining Amber and Leslie in Vegas. We're all going to hang out. So if you guys are going to be there, come say hi. I'll be walking around. I'm taking a class and we're just, Susan and I are just attending and having fun. So if you guys are going to be at Socation, make sure you say hi to me. I probably won't recognize you. So if you recognize me, come up and say hi. Anyways, all right. Thank you guys so much for watching and have a fabulous day. Bye, guys.